Hi guys, I'm back. Today I'm going to read Genesis 41 to 45, Proverbs 22, and Psalm 25. Let's get started. When 2 full years had passed, Pharaoh had a dream. In his dream, he was standing by the Nile River. 7 cows came up out of the river. They looked healthy and fat. They were eating some of the tall grass growing along the river. After them, 7 other cows came up out of the Nile. They looked ugly and skinny. They were standing beside the other cows on the riverbank. The ugly, skinny cows ate up the 7 cows that looked healthy and fat. Then Pharaoh woke up. He fell asleep again and had a second dream. In that dream, 7 heads of grain were growing on one stem. And they were healthy and good. After them, 7 other heads of grain came up. They were thin and dried up by the east wind. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 healthy, full heads. Then Pharaoh woke up. It had been a dream. In the morning he was worried, so he sent for all the magicians and wise men of Egypt. Pharaoh told them his dreams, and no one could tell him what they meant. Then the chief wine taster spoke up. He said to Pharaoh, "Now I remember that I've done something wrong." Pharaoh was angry with his servants. He put me and the chief baker in prison. We were in the house of the captain of the palace guard. Each of us had a dream the same night. Each dream had its own meaning. A young Hebrew servant was there with us. He was the servant of the captain of the guard. We told him our dreams, and he explained them to us. He told each of us the meaning of our dreams. Things turned out exactly as he said they would. I was given back my job, and the other man had a pole stuck through his body. So Pharaoh sent for Joseph. He was quickly brought out of the prison. Joseph shaved and changed his clothes. Then he came to Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I had a dream, but no one can tell me what it means. But I've heard that when you hear a dream, you can explain it." "I can't do it," Joseph replied to Pharaoh. "But God will give Pharaoh the answer he wants." Then Pharaoh told Joseph what he had dreamed. He said, "I was standing on the bank of the Nile River. 7 cows came up out of the river. They were fat and looked healthy. They were eating the tall grass growing along the river. After them, 7 other cows came up. They were bony and very ugly and thin. I had never seen such ugly cows in the whole land of Egypt. The thin, ugly cows ate up the 7 fat cows that came up first, and no one could tell that the thin cows had eaten the fat cows. That's because the thin cows looked just as ugly as they had before. Then I woke up. In my dream, I also saw 7 heads of grain. They were full and good. They were all growing on one stem. After them, 7 other heads of grain came up. They were weak and thin and dried up by the east wind. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 good heads. I told my dream to the magicians, and none could explain it, but none of them could explain it to me. Then Joseph said to Pharaoh, "Both of Pharaoh's dreams have the same meaning. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good heads of grain are 7 years. Both dreams mean the same thing. The 7 thin, ugly cows that came up later are 7 years. So are the 7 worthless heads of grain dried up by the east wind. They are 7 years, and there won't be enough food. It's just as I said to Pharaoh. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. 7 years with plenty of food are coming to the whole land of Egypt. But 7 years when there won't be enough food will follow. And then everyone will forget about all the food Egypt had. Terrible hunger will destroy the land. There won't be anything left to remind people of the years when there was plenty of food in the land. That's how bad the hunger that follows will be." And God gave the dream to Pharaoh in 2 forms. That's because the matter has been firmly decided by God, and it's because God will do it soon. So Pharaoh should look for a wise and understanding man. He should put him in charge of the land of Egypt. Pharaoh should appoint officials to be in charge of the land. They should take 1/5 of the harvest when there's plenty of food. They should collect all the extra food of the good news that are coming. Pharaoh should give them authority to store up the grain. They should keep it in the cities for food. The grain should be stored up for the country to use later. It will be needed during 7 years when there isn't enough food in Egypt. And then the country won't be destroyed just because it doesn't have enough food. The plan seemed good to Pharaoh and all his officials. So Pharaoh said to them, "The Spirit of God is in this man. We can't find anyone else like him, can we?" Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "God has made all this known to you. No one is as wise and understanding as you are. You will be in charge of my palace. All my people must obey your order. I will be greater than you only because I'm the one who sits on the throne." So Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I'm putting you in charge of the whole land of Egypt." Then Pharaoh took from his finger the ring he used to give his official stamp. He put it on Joseph's finger. He dressed him in robes made out of fine linen. He put a gold chain around Joseph's neck. He also had him ride in a chariot. Joseph was now next in command after Pharaoh. People went in front of Joseph and shouted, "Get down on your knees." By doing all these things, Pharaoh put Joseph in charge of the whole land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I am Pharaoh, but unless you give an order, no one will do anything in the whole land of Egypt." Pharaoh gave Joseph the name Zaphanath-Paneah. He gave Joseph a wife. She was Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar. Potiphar was the priest of On. Joseph traveled all over the land of Egypt. Joseph was 30 years old when he began serving Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. He left Pharaoh's palace and traveled all over Egypt. During the 7 years, there were plenty of food. The land produced more than the people needed. Joseph collected all the extra food produced in those 7 years in Egypt. He stored it in the cities. In each city, he stored up the food grown in the fields around it. Joseph stored up huge amounts of grain. There was as much of it as sand by the sea. There was so much grain it couldn't be measured. So Joseph stopped keeping records of it. Before the years when there wasn't enough food, 2 sons were born to Joseph. He had them by Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar. Potiphar was the priest of On. Joseph named his first son Manasseh. That's because he said, "God has made me forget all my trouble in my father's whole family." He named the second son Ephraim. That's because he said, "God has given me children in the land where I've suffered so much." The 7 years where there were plenty of food, The 7 years where there was plenty of food in Egypt came to an end. Then the 7 years where there wasn't enough food began. It happened just as Joseph had said it would. There wasn't enough food in any of the other lands, but in the whole land of Egypt there was food. When all the people of Egypt began to get hungry, they cried out to Pharaoh for food. They told all the Egyptians, "Go to Joseph, do what he told you." There wasn't enough food anywhere in the country, so Joseph opened the storerooms. He sold grain to the Egyptians all over Egypt. People from all over the world came to Egypt. They came to buy grain from Joseph. That's because people were hungry everywhere. Jacob found out that there was grain in Egypt, so he said to his sons, "Why do you just keep looking at one another?" He continued, "I've heard there's grain in Egypt. Go down there, buy some for us. Then we'll live and not die." So 10 of Joseph's brothers went down to Egypt to buy grain there. But Jacob didn't send Joseph's brother Benjamin with them. He was afraid Benjamin might be harmed. Esau's sons were among the people who went to buy grain. There wasn't enough food in the land of Canaan. Joseph was the governor of the land. He was the one who sold grain towards people. When Joseph's brothers arrived, they bowed down to him with their faces to the ground. As soon as Joseph saw his brothers, he recognized them, but he pretended to be a stranger. He spoke to them in a mean way. "Where do you come from?" he asked. "From the land of Canaan," they replied. "We've come to buy food." Joseph recognized his brothers, but they didn't recognize him. Then Joseph remembered his dreams about them. So he said to them, "You are spies. You have come to see the places where our land is and guard it very well." "No, sir," they answered. "We've come to buy food. All of us are the sons of one man. We're honest men. We aren't spies." "No," he said to them. "You have come to see the places where our land is and guard it very well." But they replied, "We were 12 brothers. All of us were the sons of one man. He lives in the land of Canaan. Our youngest brother is now with our father, and one brother is gone." And Joseph said to them, "I still say you are spies, so I'm going to test you. You won't leave this place unless your youngest brother comes here. You can be just as sure of this as you are sure that Pharaoh lives. I give you my word that you won't leave here unless your brother comes. Send one of you back to get your brother." The rest of you will be kept in prison. I'll test your words. Then we'll find out whether you are telling the truth. You can be sure that Pharaoh lives. And you can be just as sure that if you aren't telling the truth, we will know that you are spies." So Joseph kept all of them under guard for 3 days. On the 3rd day, Joseph spoke to them again. He said, "Do what I say, then you'll live, because I have respect for God. If you are honest men, let one of your brothers stay here in prison. The rest of you may go and take grain back to your hungry families. But you must bring your youngest brother to me. That will prove that your words are true. Then you won't die." So they did what he said. They said to one another, "God is surely punishing us because of our brother. We saw how upset he was when he begged us to let him live, but we wouldn't listen. That's why all this trouble has come to us." Reuben replied, "Didn't I tell you not to sin against the boy? But you wouldn't listen. Now we're being paid back for killing him." They didn't realize that Joseph could understand what they were saying. He was using someone else to explain their words to him in the Egyptian language. Joseph turned away from his brothers and began to weep. Then he came back and spoke to them again. He had Simeon taken and tied up right there in front of him. Joseph gave orders to have their bags filled with grain, and he had each man's money put back into his sack. He also made sure that they were given food for their journey. Then the brothers loaded the grain on their donkeys and left. When night came, they stopped. One of them opened his sack to get food for his donkey. He saw his money in the top of the sack. "My money has been given back," he said to his brothers. "Here it is in my sack." They had a sinking feeling in their hearts. They began to tremble. They turned to one another and said, What has God done to us?" They came to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan. They told him everything that had happened to them. They said, "The man who is the governor of the land spoke to us in a mean way. He treated us as if we were spying on the land. But we said to him, 'We are honest men. We aren't spies.' So we were 12 brothers. All of us were the sons of one father. But now one brother is gone, and our youngest brother is with our father in Canaan." So then the man who was the governor of the land spoke to us. He said, "Here's how I know you whether you are honest men. Leave one of your brothers here with me. Take food for your hungry families and go, but bring your youngest brother to me. Then I'll know that you are honest men and not spies. I'll give your brother back to you, and you will be free to trade in the land." They began emptying their sacks. There in each man's sack was his bag of money. When they and their father saw the money bags, they were scared to death. Their father Jacob said to them, "You have taken my children away from me. Joseph is gone. Simeon is gone. But now you want to take Benjamin. Everything is going against me." Then Reuben spoke to his father. He said, "You can put both of my sons to death if I don't bring Benjamin back to you. Trust me to take care of him. I'll bring him back." But Jacob said, "My son will not go down there with you. His brother is dead. He's the only one left here with me. Suppose he's harmed on the journey you are taking. Then I'll die as a sad old man." There still wasn't enough food anywhere in the land. After a while, Jacob's family had eaten all the grain the brothers had brought from Egypt. So their father said to them, "Go back, buy us a little more food." And Judah said to them, "The man gave us a strong warning. He said, 'You won't see my face again unless your brother Benjamin is with you. So send our brother along with us. Then we'll go down and buy food for you. If you won't send him, then we won't go down." The man said to us, "You won't see my face again unless your brother is with you." Israel asked, "Why did you bring this trouble to me? Why did you tell the man you had another brother?" They replied, "The man questioned us closely about ourselves and our family. He asked us, 'Is your father still alive? Still living? Do you have another brother?' We just answered his questions. How could we possibly know?" He would say, "Bring your brother down here." Judah spoke to Israel, his father. "Send the boy along with me," he said. "We'll go right away. Then we and you and our children will live and not die. I myself promise to keep Benjamin safe. You can blame me if I don't bring him back to you. I'll set him here, right here, in front of you. If I don't, you can put the blame on me for the rest of my life. And as it is, we've already waited too long. We could have made the trip to Egypt and back twice by now." Then their father Israel spoke to them. They said, "If that's the way it has to be, then do what I tell you. Put some of the best things from our land in your bags. Take them down to the man as a gift. Take some lotion and a little honey. Take some spices and myrrh. Take some pistachio nuts and almonds. Take twice the amount of money with you. You have to give back the money that was put in your sacks. Maybe it was a mistake. Also take your brother. Go back to the man at once. May the mighty God cause him to show you mercy. May the man who led your other brother, Benjamin, let your other brother, and Benjamin come back with you. And if I lose my sons, I lose them. So the men took the gifts. They also took twice the amount of money. They also took Benjamin. They hurried down to Egypt and went to Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he spoke to the manager of his house. "Take these men to my house," He said, "Kill an animal and prepare a meal. I want them to eat with me at noon." The manager did what Joseph told him to do. He took the men to Joseph's house. And they were frightened when they were taken to Joseph's house. They thought, "We were brought here because of the money that was put back in our sacks the first time. He wants to attack us and overpower us. Then he can hold us as slaves and take our donkeys." So they went up to Joseph's manager. They spoke to him at the entrance of the house. "Please, sir," they said, "we came down here the first time to buy food. We opened our sacks at the place where we stopped for the night. Each of us found in our sacks the exact amount of money we had paid, so we've brought it back with us. We've also brought more money with us to buy food. We don't know who put our money in our sacks." "It's all right," the manager said. "Don't be afraid. Your God, the God of your father, has given you riches in your sacks. I receive your money." Then he brought Simeon out to them. The manager took the men into Joseph's house. He gave them water to wash their feet. He provided feed for the donkeys. The brothers prepared their gifts for Joseph. He was planning to arrive at noon. They had heard that they were going to eat there. Then, when Joseph came home, they gave him the gifts they had brought into the house. They bowed down low in front of him. He asked them how they were. And then he said, "How is your old father you told me about? Is he still living?" They replied, "Your servant, our father, is still alive and well." And they bowed down to show him honor. Joseph looked around. Then he saw his brother Benjamin, his own mother's son. He asked, "Is this your youngest brother? Is he the one you told me about?" He continued, "May God be gracious to you, my son." It moved him deeply to see his brother. So Joseph hurried out and looked for a place to cry. He went into his own room and cried. Then he washed his face and came out. He calmed down and said, "Serve the food." They served Joseph by himself. They served the brothers by themselves. They also served the Egyptians who ate there with Joseph by themselves. Because of their beliefs, Egyptians couldn't eat with Hebrews. The brothers had been given places in front of Joseph. They had been seen in the order of their ages, from the oldest to the youngest. That made them look at each other in great surprise. While they were eating, some food was brought to them from Joseph's table. Benjamin was given 5 times as much as anyone else. So all Joseph's brothers ate and drank a lot with him. Joseph told the manager of his house what to do. "Fill the men's sacks with as much food as they can carry," he said. "Put each man's money in his sack. Then put my silver cup in the youngest one's sack. Put it there along with the money he paid for his work." So the manager did what Joseph told him to do. When morning came, the men were sent on their way with their donkeys. They hadn't gone very far from the city where Joseph spoke to his manager. "Go after those men right away," he said. "Catch up with them. Say to them, 'My master was good to you. Why have you paid him back by doing evil? Isn't this the cup my master drinks from? Doesn't he also use it to find things out? You have done an evil thing.'" When the manager called her with them, he told them what Joseph had said. But they said to him, "Why do you say these things? We will never do anything like that. We even brought back to you from Canaan the money we found in our sack. So why would you steal silver or gold from the master's house? If you find out that any of us has the cup, he will die, and the rest of us will become your slaves." "All right then," he said, "as you wish. The one who found to have the cup will become my slave, but the rest of you will not be blamed." Each of them quickly put his sack down on the ground and opened it. Then the manager started to search. He began with the oldest and ended with the youngest. The cup was found in Benjamin's sack. When that happened, they were so upset they tore their clothes. Then all of them loaded their donkeys and went back to the city. Joseph was still in the house when Jun and his brothers came in. They threw themselves down on the ground in front of him. Joseph said to them, "What have you done? Don't you know that a man like me has ways to find things out?" "What can we say to you?" Judah replied. "What can we say? How can we prove we haven't done anything wrong? God has shown you that we are guilty. We are now your slaves. All of us are, including the one found to have the cup." But Joseph said, "I would never do anything like that. Only the man found to have the cup will become my slave. The rest of you may go back to your father in peace." Then Judas went up to him. He said, "Please, sir, let me speak a word to you." Don't be angry with me, even though you are equal to Pharaoh himself. He asked us, do you have a father or a brother? And we answered, we have an old father. A young son was born to him when he was old. His brother is dead. He's the only one of his mother's sons left, and his father loves him. Then he said to us, bring him down to me. I want to see him for myself. We said to you, the boy can't leave his father. If he does, his father will die. But you told us, your youngest brother must come down here with you. If he does, you won't see my face again. So he went back to see my father. We told him what you had said. Then our father said, go back, buy a little more food. What did we say? We can't go down. We'll only go if our youngest brother goes there with us. We can't even see the man's face unless our youngest brother goes with us. Your servant, my father, said to us, you know that my wife had 2 sons by me. One of them went away from me, and I said, he must have been torn to pieces. I haven't seen him since. What if you take this one from me, too, and he is hung? And then you would cause me to die as a sad old man. I would go down into the grave full of pain and suffering. So now, what will happen if the boy isn't with us when I go back to my father? His life depends on the boy's life. When he sees us with the boy, that the boy isn't with us, he will die. Because of us, he'll go down into the grave as a sad old man. I promised my father I would keep the boy safe. I said, Father, I will bring him back to you. If I don't, you can put the blame on me for the rest of my life. Now then, please let me stay here. Let me be your slave in place of the boy. And let the boy return with his brothers. How can I go back to my father if the boy isn't with me? No, don't let me see the pain and suffering that would come to my father. Joseph couldn't control himself anymore in front of all his attendants. He cried out, have everyone leave me. So there wasn't anyone with Joseph when he told his brothers who he was. He wept so loudly that the Egyptians heard him. Everyone in Pharaoh's house heard about it. Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? But his brothers weren't able to answer him. They were too afraid of him. Joseph said to his brothers, come close to me. So they did. They said, I am your brother Joseph. I'm the one you sold into Egypt. But don't be upset, and don't be angry with yourselves because you sold me here. God sent me ahead of you to save many lives. For 2 years now, there hasn't been enough food in the land. And for the next 5 years, people won't be plowing or gathering crops. But God sent me ahead of you to keep some of you alive on earth. He sent me here to save your lives by an act of mighty power. So then, it wasn't you who sent me here. It was God. He made me like a father to Pharaoh. He made me master of Pharaoh's entire house. God made me ruler of the whole land of Egypt. Now hurry back to my father. Say to him, your son Joseph said, God has made me master of the whole land of Egypt. Come down to me. Don't waste any time. You will live in the area of Goshen. You, your children and grandchildren, your flocks and herds, and everything you have will be near me. There I will provide everything you need. There are still 5 years to come when there won't be enough food. If you don't come down here, you and your family and everyone who belongs to you, will lose everything. My brothers, I am Joseph. You can see for yourselves that I am the one speaking to you. My brother Benjamin can see it too. Tell my father about all the honor given to me in Egypt. Tell him about everything you've seen, and bring my father down here quickly. Then Joseph threw his arms around his brother Benjamin and wept. Benjamin also hugged him and wept. Joseph kissed all his brothers and wept over them. After that, his brothers talked with him. The news reached Pharaoh's palace, and that Joseph's brothers had come. Pharaoh and all his officials were pleased. Pharaoh said to Joseph, here's what I want you to tell your brothers. Say to them, load your animals, return to the land of Canaan. Bring your father and your families back to me. I'll give you the good land, best land in Egypt, and you can enjoy all the good things in the land. And here's something else I want you to tell them. Say to them, take some carts from Egypt. Your children and your wives can use them. Get your father and come back. Don't worry about the things you have back there. The best of everything in Egypt will belong to you. Then the sons of Israel did so. Joseph gave them carts, as Pharaoh had commanded. He also gave them supplies for the journey. He gave new clothes to each of them. He gave Benjamin more than 7 pounds of silver. He also gave him 5 sets of clothes. He sent his father 10 male donkeys loaded with the best things from Egypt. He also sent 10 female donkeys loaded with grain and bread and other supplies for his journey. Then Joseph sent his brothers away. As they were leaving, he said to them, don't argue on the way. Mm. So they went up. So they went up out of Egypt. They came to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan. They saw Joseph is still alive. In fact, he is the ruler of the whole land of Egypt. Jacob was shocked. He didn't believe it. So they told him everything Joseph had said to them. Jacob saw the carts Joseph had sent to carry him back. That gave new life to their father Jacob. Israel said, I believe it now. My son Joseph is still alive. I'll go see him before I die. Proverbs 22. You should want a good name more than you want great riches. To be highly respected is better than having silver or gold. The Lord made rich people and poor people. That's what they have in common. Most people see danger and go to a safe place, but Charles people keep going and suffer for it. Being humble comes from having respect for the Lord. This will bring you wealth and honor in life. Thorns and traps line the paths of evil people, but those who value their lives stay far away from it. Start children off on the right path, and even when they are old, they will not turn away from it. Rich people rule over those who are poor. Borrowers are slaves to lenders. And when they plant evil gathers a harvest of trouble. Their powers to treat others badly will be destroyed. Those who give freely will be blessed, and that's because they share their food with those who are poor. If you drive away those who make fun of others, hiding also goes away. Arguing and unkind words will stop. A person who has a pure and loving heart and speaks kindly will be a friend of the king. The eyes of the Lord keep over knowledge, but he does away with the words of those who are simple. People who don't want to work safe, there's a line outside, or they say, I will be muddy if I go out into the street. The mouth of a woman who commits adultery is like a deep pit. Any man the Lord is angry will fall into it. Children are going to do foolish things, but correcting them will drive that foolishness away. You might treat poor people badly or give gifts to rich people. Trying to get rich in these ways will instead make you poor. Pay attention and listen to the sayings of wise people. And apply your heart to the sayings I teach. It is pleasing when you keep them in your heart. Have all of them ready on your lips. You are the one I am teaching today. That's because I want you to trust in the Lord. I have written 30 sayings for you. They will give you knowledge and good advice. I am teaching you to be honest and to speak the truth. Then you can give honest reports to those you serve. Don't take advantage of poor people just because they are poor. Don't treat badly those who are in need by taking them to court. The Lord will stand up for them in court. He will require the lives of people who have taken the lives of those in need. Don't be a bad friend of a person who has a bad temper. Don't go around with a person who gets angry easily. You might learn their habits, and then you will reach out by them. Don't agree to pay for what someone else is. And don't agree to pay their bills for them. If you don't have the money to pay, your bill will be taken right out from under you. Don't move your boundaries to earn set up by your people longer. If you see someone who does good work, that person will serve good. That person won't serve officials of lowering. Psalm 25. In you, Lord my God, I put my trust. I trust in you. Don't let me be put to shame. Don't let my enemies win the battle over me. Those who put their hope in you will never be put to shame. But those who lie to other people for no reason will be put to shame. Lord, show me your ways. Teach me how to follow you. Guide me in your truth. Teach me. You are God, my Savior. I put my hope in you all day. Lord, remember your great mercy and love. You've shown them to your people for a long time. Don't remember the sins I committed when I was young. Don't remember how often I refused to obey. Remember me because you love me. Lord, you are good. The Lord is awesome good. He teaches sinners to walk in his ways. He shows those who are proud how to do what's right. He teaches them his ways. All the Lord's ways are loving and faithful toward those who obey what his covenant commands. Lord, be true to your name. Forgive my sin, even though it is great. Who are the people who have respect for the Lord? God will teach them the way they should choose. Things will always go well for them. Their children will be given the land. The Lord shows his plans with those who have respect for him. He makes his command known to them. My eyes always look to the Lord. He alone can set my feet free from the trap. Turn to me and help me. I am lonely and hurting. Take away the troubles of my heart. Set me free from my great pain. Look at how I'm hurting. See how much I suffer. Take away all my sins. Look at how many enemies I have. See how terrible their hatred is for me. God, my life, save me. Don't let me be put to shame. I go to you for safety, and may my honest and good life keep me safe. Lord, I have put my hope in you. God, set yourself free from all their troubles. Now that's done, I shall now do the Lord's Prayer. Please bow your head. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.